What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the 134th episode of Collecting Profit, your weekly sports cards, sports talk, eBay talk, reselling talk, live show. So, right off the bat, next week's show, which will be actually, on the 30th, should be a show. We we should be doing another. Hey, Big John, how's it going, buddy? Next week's show should be SummerSlam preview. So don't forget to come on back for that. I think the following week, right now, the 6th of September, I am waiting for confirmation from someone. But we are going to wind up doing a baseball trading deadline show. What's up, Anthony? How are you doing, sir? Hey, Anthony, let me know if you want to get online tomorrow and talk about the new podcast. We can get that rolling. We can get off of the jump. So, last week we talked a little bit about eBay's new change with the prices going up. I think we did, or maybe I just talked about it in my brain. But talked about going ahead and with the new eBay charges, a 1 ounce sports card, right? If you sell 1 ounce sports card, went up from 69 to 74. The 2 ounces went up to 103. 3 ounces went up to 132 or 133. And it really made me think about what I wanted to do if I wanted to make a change. What's up, Larkin? How you doing? And I decided that I was going to try selling small 6-card lots. I started off with like Ichiro, Ken Griffey Jr., Tony Gwynn. If you see behind me, I'm starting right there. That's like pretty much all football. Going to do football lots. And I will say that I started listing them, I guess it was Thursday night. Between Thursday and the weekend and part of Saturday, I had 19 sets or 19 lots, as you can see where it says there, lot box. So I had 19, and I've sold 6 already. And 6-card lot, it's free shipping, $6.29. They ship for 2 ounces, which is 103. So you figure from a dollars and cents percent, I believe, it's you wind up making a little more per card because at $1.29, it cost me 103 to ship, right? So now I'm down $5.26. You got 40 cents or 30 cents. I'm sorry, I think it's 30-cent fee for your what do you call it? 30 your transaction fee, and then whatever the fees were. So I was doing over $4 in what was considered profit. Whereas if I would have listed each one of those 6 cards and sold them all for about $1.75 ish, I wind up going ahead and making about 50 cents a card. So I would have made $3 for $4. Yeah, they were all buy it now. So I still use my scanner. So what I would love, I wish I was smart enough to write a little batch file or a little program, whatever the hell you call it, where you can just say like, where you can drag cards in and it would make it into a square. I don't do that. I'm not that smart to go ahead and do that. So I do scan the cards front and back, and then basically I take the fronts, I throw them into PowerPoint, I size them, then I save that as a JPEG, and then I use that as my first photo, and then I take the 12 scans that I have and I drop those in. So again, it takes a little longer. And then what I do is that I put in the description, what each card, is. And I do that real simple by just using Google Images. I just drag the card over, goes into Google Images, it pops up, usually an eBay listing, and I will copy and paste that right into my description. Sean, how you doing, buddy? Hope all is well. So I did those, and so now I'm trying. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm just separating, football and doing quarterbacks, running backs. On defense, big name players, just trying to go ahead and come up with six different cards in a batch and to let it run. But I have, all those football there. There's more baseball there. There's basketball. Uh, I'm gonna have to do hockey. I'm gonna do wrestling. I think I'm gonna try UFC. I don't know if I have enough UFC. I may have to just, with the boxes of UFC that I have that I was using for rip and ships, I may just have to go through and rip all those open and basically, to make lots out of that. But again, it is a little more work. I mean, now there is a company out there, and I think he goes by Paul's Cards or Paul Cards. He's on eBay and stuff. He switched. He was and now he does massive lots. Also, like he'll do 100. Uh, you know, 100 Ichiro cards. He may do 100 Ken Griff. Like he'll do big lots, but he'll do small lots also. I don't have enough of an inventory to be able to do like massive lots of a player. Well, I do have a couple of them. Unfortunately, that was one of the things that I was going to try and do when I went to the national this year. Uh, can you give me something to watch? Are you going? I am not going to the national. I was going to go to the national, but I had to cancel about 10 days ago. So, but but my plan was to hit some of those. There are a few people at the national that do 10-cent boxes and quarter boxes, but when you look at them, it's base and stuff, but it's all base of Hall of Famers. So I got a stack there of like a whole bunch of Frank Thomas, yeah, that I was getting for 10 cents a piece. So I put six of them in a thing at 60 cents, you know what I'm saying? So, you wind up going ahead and in my opinion, uh, you wind up making more money. Again, it's one of those things. Hey Dom, how you doing? um, it's one of those things where it all depends on, you know, um, the time versus the money thing and stuff like that. And we'll see. I'm gonna keep doing it. I mean, I'm still gonna list, individual cards that wouldn't go in there, but I'm also mixing in some other cards and stuff. Uh, you know, like, I was mixing in some Ichiro cards that are probably, $5, $6 cards. So again, they're cards that I've had forever. They're cards that I've gotten. I got a whole bunch of basketball and baseball cards that I've gotten from a friend of mine up in New York. Where all I had to do was pay for shipping. So from that standpoint, a large flat rate box that I paid $22 for, had 4,000 cards in it, right? So I'm not in it. Now, are they all great cards? And no, was there a lot of base? Yes. But from the basketball, there's a lot of Hall of Famers, a lot of popular players from back in the day. Even the baseball, there was a lot of, you know, there were a lot of people who recently got elected into the Hall of Fame in those boxes. So we're going to give it a shot. We're going to see what happens. It might work. It might not work. I don't know. I mean, you know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I heard, I didn't get a chance to dive into it, but I heard there was some kind of massive or a potential or alleged scam that went ahead and might have been brought forward. I saw I didn't I watched one of his videos, Dan the Card Man, and he was talking about the you know, auto pen and a lot of stuff, a lot of forgeries and stuff like that, a lot of fake uh you know um uh, faked autographs. They even faked the holograms, for the back of the cards and stuff like that. So it it's it was something, again, I didn't hear much about. I know part of it was in Indiana. I don't know if Mighty Ice is not in here, but I was gonna ask him if he heard about it. But very, very interesting. Very, very interesting story. I think that's one of the things, we got to watch out from, and it was funny, Dan, always said, what Dan said was when he, pulls an autograph and everything, even if you go ahead, and you see on the back of it, and it says, watched by Panini or so on and so forth, or watched by Fanatics or one of those types of things, you gotta hope for the best that it actually, that it actually is what it was. But I found that interesting. That I found that whole story interesting. But again, I didn't look into it, that much more. Um, you know, eBay also, if they haven't, if I think we spoke a little bit about it. I think Lachlan might have brought it up one time. But for eBay auctions, eBay is starting now to I think they're doing in a beta right now of if a bid is placed within like the last, I don't know what the number is. I want to say 20 seconds, but I might not be right. But if a bid is placed in the last like 20 seconds, it'll add a certain amount of time to the auction. So in reality, you could have an auction continuing to go on. If three or four people, put in what their max number is on an auction, it's going to go ahead and it's going to get there. I mean, it's going to get there no matter what, but it'll stay open enough to where somebody else might be able to jump in. So that's going to be interesting. Um, that was one of the things that I liked about, eBay. One of the things that I really liked doing was, you know, late at night, 11:30, 12 o'clock, do a search. Um, I would do a search for, auctions for autographs, or, rookie autographs. Hey, John, good evening. God bless you, sir. But I would go ahead and, like I said, I would do a search for rookie autographs and do it by ending soonest and see what was going on, and was, sometimes was able to go ahead and get a, not necessarily an top line guy, but maybe that second tier, rookie, and was able to snipe it and stuff. Now I guess, that would go ahead and potentially can happen, but now there's also the potential that somebody else could log in 10 seconds after you did. You think the auction ending, boom, and the auction doesn't end. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. There was this talk, that like people who are professional engineers, auctioneers, they didn't like they like it a lot. They like it a lot from a standpoint of to them it's more of a true auction, right? Because if you're an auctioneer and you're auctioning off anything, if you're auctioning off this pencil, you don't go ahead and say, okay, we're going to start this auction and the auction is going to end at 10 p.m. Or if you're, you're somewhere, hey, we're at the auction house. I'm auctioning off this pencil, and the auction is, you don't hear that, hey, and the auction is going to end at 3 o'clock, and whoever has the highest bid at 3 o'clock, then they go until the bidding stops. And I think that's what no, this pencil is priceless. I actually just picked this up. I went to a builder's show today. I like that pencil. So I'm not sure how it's going to work out. Not sure how it's going to work out. But we'll see. What the heck is this crown stuff? What crown? What are you talking about? Explain yourself. Excuse me. So that's going to be interesting from that standpoint. There ain't no Burger King. Man, this ain't. Oh, Dommy. So it's going to be interesting. See what happens. Really interesting. Baseball, man, we are coming out of the All-Star break. We are a matter of what? We are 8 days from the trade deadline. What teams are going to make moves? What teams are not going to make moves? This new playoff system. There is a purple crown on your names. I'm not drunk, I swear. One sip of a beer. I don't know what you're talking about a purple crown. Beats the crap. Oh, that I know. Okay, you're talking about YouTube. Yeah, the people that comment the most go ahead and get these little crowns. And if you look up at the top, next to where it says live, you'll see what your points are. The more comments you make, the more points you get. But you don't win a prize, you get bragging rights. So, like Dom, you say, Sean, ha ha, I got more points than you. Sean, you suck, I win. Just one of those things. That's just the way it is. Um, but so the trading deadline, it's going to go into my target tomorrow to see if they have any more of the All-Star Megas. Every time I've gone, empty, empty, empty. Don't worry about going away. Don't pay attention to that stupid stuff. I have not been able to find any. I tried. I went back. I went back to the Targets that are near my house. So I had gone into one, and they were putting out Pokemon and everything. And the lady said, "Hey, I went ahead and I'm just the Pokemon Magic, the specialty stuff." She wasn't the baseball lady. The baseball lady was supposed to come back on Friday. I went. I didn't see anything. So cool, excellent. There are a lot of teams for first place. There is a team with a 4-game first place lead, has 17 injuries, including 3 substitutes and 3 regular starters. They must be cheating if they're in first place. It's possible. But the new playoff format really affects the trade deadline. It really does. It makes it to where teams have to really think twice if they're going to be sellers, or if they're going to be buyers. It's like what is that number? I hate that Woods is not up for Rookie of the Year. Why? I didn't know Woods was not. What, did he play too many games beforehand? None of them, none at my target, but the AEW Blast I bought instead had a case hit, a nice numbered, and a pentaparallel. Damn, nice. Way to go, Locking. So the penta was worth $50 alone. You got a nice number. What's the case hit? Yup, in 2024. Yeah, so I mean, so like, what is that number for teams? If with your team, if your team, like, where do you want your team to be? Whether they decide whether they're buyers or sellers. Like, for instance, if you look at the American League, There are one, two, three, four, five, six teams that are less than 5 games out of a playoff spot. 4.5, 4, 2, 1.5, a half a game. Those guys have got to be buyers. They can't be sellers. I mean, maybe they could be sellers, but you would think that they would not. Sheeta and Big Bill, so not one of the best pulls. That's really cool, man. That's awesome. Finisher it or something like that. Very cool. I'm gonna have to look those up. Okay, if you want one, and they have them, they are 52.99. That's tax included. Wow. Buy Houston will buy, but not sure what they will trade. Yeah, that's that fine thing. But I mean, why does Houston have to do anything? I mean, in reality, you know, they're in first place. They have a 6 game lead. I mean, yes, they should probably, if they can add, they probably should add. But this is where certain players, we're gonna sit there and we're gonna go, holy crap, they gave up that for that guy. And like yeah, they don't. That's what I'm saying. They don't necessarily have. They have between getting Pena, Jordan, and the pitchers back. They need a starting pitcher, but a center fielder would be nice. So a lot of teams want center fielders, but the truth of the matter is, who's available? Like who? The only names that I have heard that potentially could be available are like Luis Robert, Joe Adele. Maybe you might be able to pry a Duran from Boston, Cedric Mullins. But when you really look at his numbers, is he worth it? Suarez is the big prize. Yep, he's the one guy who is not in that. He'll, he'll be an overpay, but he'll be worth the overpay. What's going to happen is just like, for instance, I like the guy. I think he is a decent pitcher. Not a great pitcher. He's a good pitcher. Mitch Keller for Pittsburgh. There's a lot of talk that um, Mitch Keller is getting a lot of interest by teams. Well, he may be one of the better pitchers that are available. Where in an off season, he would not garner what he can potentially garner at in the next 8 days. So that's the thing with so few teams being completely out of it, the price of players is going to go up. Sterling Marte is the best center fielder available. Take him, please. Yeah. So it's going to be so it's really, in my opinion, it's really, really going to be interesting, with the trade deadline. And that's what I'm looking at doing on the 6th of August, I think it is. Is it the 6th of August? Yeah. On the 6th of August of bringing on a guy who's a baseball guy. He's, it's what he does. He's a writer, social media guy up in New York and stuff like that. Big time Mets fan and stuff. But he talks baseball, period. So I'm trying to have him come on, and then on that first show in August, do like a trade deadline, recap, who won, who lost, so on and so forth. But that's what I'm saying. That's where you are. I mean, the American League, Baltimore, the A's, and the White Sox. Those three teams are probably your guaranteed sellers. But who from those teams is someone really going to want that they're not going to have to overpay for? In the National League, you have more teams. You have the baseball team from Georgia who's 10.5, but they're not going to be sellers. They're not going to sell off some of those guys that they have, the younger contract guys. It doesn't make sense. Pittsburgh is 13.5. The Nationals are 14, and the Rockies are 29. Now, are there people on the Nationals? Are there players on the Nationals that people would want? Yes. Those people are not available. Those young arms are not available. Mackenzie Gore is not available. I mean, unless you'd be stupid enough to go ahead and make it a really dumb offer. But a Mackenzie Gore is not going to be available. A Wood, a Cruz, a lot of those guys are not going to be available. I mean, Colorado, do you want any of their pitching? Maybe the catcher Goodman might be the one guy that people may want. Maybe a Ryan McMahon. If you can't get Suarez, McMahon could play some third base for you. But I don't. With Pittsburgh, are they willing to move off of Key Brian Hayes? They have Brian Reynolds, but Brian Reynolds has like a limited no trade, and his no trade clause includes a lot of the big market teams, from him. So we'll see. Yes, we are doing that. We are doing SummerSlam next Wednesday. Yes, you need pitching. Bird in the bullpen from Colorado. Bird from the bullpen in Colorado. Oh, Jake Bird. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So again, but again, I mean, uh, there's. I don't think there's a lot. It's not a lot. I don't know about Marquez Dami. I mean, I've looked at him a little bit, and he's on the DL again. Let's see, 9 hours ago, he has bicep tendon inflammation. I mean, I don't know if you want to take a chance with that guy. He pitched 4 games in 2023. He pitched 1 game in 2024, and he's hurt again. I just don't know. I mean, now look, you get him on the cheap. They say, hey, you know what? We'll take a pitcher from Single A, a no-name kid who probably wouldn't make it anyway. Okay, I could potentially go ahead and see that as as a possibility, but not. Yeah, he does. Not not for a top 20 prospect. He's not even worth a top 20. Forget top 10. He's not worth top 20. So it's going to be interesting. But again, there may be a team who looks and goes, man, you know what? That guy might not be a bad guy to go after. People want to talk to the Marlins. They have a couple of young pitchers. They have a former Cy Young at Sandy Alcantara. They have Edwin Cabrera, Edwin Cabrera. Yeah, people are talking about those two pitchers. But again, you're going to have to overpay because the market is going to be so small. That's where the part that's where it is. Do the Marlins sell? I don't know. I don't know. The Angels are only 4.5 games out of the last spot. Boston has the last spot. Boston's not going to sell. Boston will not sell unless they are selling from strength, which would be maybe an outfielder. They could potentially, I could see them maybe considering going ahead and doing an outfielder. But I don't think that would happen. Yeah. They've almost caught the Yankees. The Red Sox are what? 2 games out of the win column behind the Yankees. So I can't see the Red Sox selling the Angels anything. But again, the Angels just got swept by the Mets. So they've lost 3 in a row. Where do they go next? So a team like the Angels that is 4.5 games out. Um, when you look at their schedule, so they just finished up. They have 4 with Seattle, and then 3 with Texas. So that's even in their own division. Um, if they lose a few more and get to 6.5, 7 games out, maybe they think about a Tyler Anderson, or maybe even a Hendricks and everything. Tampa better sell my Cubs some pitching. Yeah, again, Tampa Bay. No, I don't think so, Big John. Tampa is a half a game out of the last playoff spot. Very true. With Boston went ahead and helped us out a lot today. They did us a solid. Well, right, not yet. We're hoping. Boston is up 6-5, and I think it's like the bottom of the eighth. So if we could, get that to happen, we could flip flop. Um, go ahead of the. We could go ahead of what do you call them? The Phillies by half a game, I think it is. So that would be good. Tigers, yeah, crazy, crazy what they've done, man. They have slowly let Cleveland go ahead and come back in, but they going 1-9 in their last 10, and Cleveland going 8-2. That's 7 games. Bam. I mean, that's pretty darn good. So we will see. We'll see what happens. Cubs got lucky after Tucker fouled the ball off his knee last night. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. So it's going to be interesting as we have you know the rest of this week. Like I said, when you look at it, when you look at the scheduling and stuff like that, the way the way the schedules are, those fringe wild card teams, which to me that's probably the teams that are 4 to 5 games out. Um, we'll have to see. Yep, Phillies just tied the Red Sox, bastards. We'll have to see what happens. Like I was saying, you look at Minnesota. Minnesota has some parts that that maybe people could go ahead and use, right? Um, when you look at their schedule, they got Washington, then they got Boston. What are they going to do? Does a Paddock come available? Does a Joe Ryan? Does a Woods Richardson, become available? So no. Question seven of the next 10 for Detroit are trying to fight. Yeah. So I mean, they're coming back to earth and everything. Um, but again, it's gonna. I mean, I'm looking forward to this trading deadline. It's which team is afraid. I think you could see this year also, because there are some bunches together. I could see teams overpaying, going for it. I really do. I really, really can see it. You know, I think Luis Robert will get traded. I think the Athletics probably have a couple of bullpen arms because they're not going to dump their young guys. Like, people were talking. There was another chat that was going on, like, oh, Nick Kurtz. One guy was going, man, Nick Kurtz should get traded, and I was like, do you just realize Nick Kurtz like just got drafted, this year or last year? The A's are not going to sell their young players. They're not going to ship their young players out when they're moving to a new stadium in a few, right? I mean, yeah, they're playing in that little box, but they're not. If they're going to ship out anybody, it's going to be the older guys, probably the guys. Guess what? That no one really wants. The White Sox, they don't have. Again, they're going to want to keep their younger guys, so it's the older guys that may be available. Well, what are you going to want the older guys for? So trading deadline, I'm looking forward to it. Um, I personally, I really do want the Mets to try and get, and it's not a popular name in in Mets forums, stuff like that. It is like one of the worst things you could say, but I would really love to see them go after Luis Robert for the right price. He has a club option, so It's really basically he would have to show you something for the rest of the year if you decide to go ahead and keep him playing for the worst baseball team in the history of the sport last year, playing for again, you know, the worst team in the American League again. Although it pisses me off that a guy getting paid all that money would not have enough self pride, but I can understand it going. So it's here. They'll have to stadium will be built before they go throughout. Well, but I'm saying I don't think they're going to trade him right now. I don't think 23-year-old, 24-year-old kids. I don't think they're going to trade them, right now. They have to see what they're going to do. I mean, are they going to sign all of them? No. But man, you would think like a Nick Kurtz, a Zach Geloff, uh, what's his name, Jacob Wilson. You would think that those would be guys that they would, say, hey, we should stick with these guys. Mason Miller. Uh, but again, you never know. You call up about a young guy like Mason Miller, it may cost you. But if you think that he can shore up the back half of your bullpen, if that's part of the thing, and you're willing to give up a top 10 prospect, let's say two prospects, one prospect in the top 10, then another one from 11 to 20, you may go ahead and you may get them. Anything is possible. That's why I say, it's going to be interesting to see what some of these teams do that are to try and, solidify themselves or make themselves, have a, give themselves a chance to go ahead and make, that wild card round. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It's gonna be interesting, you know. But the teams that I think people are gonna look at, it's gonna be hard. People are like, oh, maybe, Texas would go ahead and maybe think about selling a couple of their older guys to give guys like, a Kumar Rocker or they have a couple of other young pitchers, give them a chance. Well, are they going to, will they want to go? It's easy to go ahead and say, "Hey, we're going to trade this guy, we're going to trade that guy," and there's all this other kind of stuff. I mean, it's really it's really really simple to do that, you know. But you know, some of them don't. Some of them are not going to want to go. Let's see. Hold on a second here. We do this here. We do this here. Copy this here. Paste that there. Close that there. You know, like for instance, what the heck is Texas? Texas. Let's say teams wanted to potentially think about Nathan Eovaldi. All right. He has 2 years left on his contract. 2 years. And he has a full no trade clause. So he's going to be 37 when his contract ends. Who's gonna want, and he's getting paid 29 million next year, 24 million the year after that. So even if you could get him to agree, that's a lot of money to pay. That's a lot of money to pay for that guy. You know, people going, oh, Jacob DeGrom, Jacob DeGrom, Jacob DeGrom, Jacob DeGrom. Full no trade clause. He don't want to go anywhere. You know, same type of deal. So we'll see what Max Scherzer from Texas. Andrew Haney maybe. But I mean, I don't think, to be honest with you, that that they're going to be, that they're going to be you know, sellers. And if they are going to be sellers, again, is anybody going to want those players? We mentioned Colorado. I don't know of how many of those people may want to go ahead and get. I know, Dom, you said Marquez, but what? Antonio Sensatella, Kyle Freeland, you know, are those maybe guys that are, hey, a change of scenery, you think they'll be okay? I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. Can we talk a little football? Do you feel the Skins will re-sign Scary Terry? I think they have no choice but to go ahead and sign him. That's what I think, John. I don't think that they cannot not sign him. I don't think that does I don't think that does them, any good to try and let him go. I just don't see it. Preston, how you doing? No, 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 no. Not let's no. No, wrong. That's wrong. The last word wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. No chance but the Commanders might. Hey, Ryan, how's it going, buddy? How you doing? Yeah, you could boo the Yankees all you want, Preston. I'm okay with that. Boo those Yankees. I agree, 100%. You won't not get any complaints from me. But let's go Metropolitans, baby. Let's go Metropolitans. Throw that up there. In case you're forgetting who he is. Whoops. Oh, where's the chat? Oh, there's the comments. Whew. Yeah. So I mean, and what and how, what about Philadelphia Phillies? They won off of a catcher's interference the other night in extra inning games. Catcher's interference. That's crazy. That is absolutely positively crazy. I don't I mean I just don't get that. You know what really some really craziest stuff though? So there's a website, it's sporttrack.com, and you could look at payroll, salaries, and so on and so forth. And if you go to the MLB and you go to the 2025 season, the Miami Marlins, their active 26-man roster, $44 million for their active roster. That's crazy. 26 players, and that's what they got. Idiots won't back off the play even when Contreras got his arm broken. Yeah. Yeah. I don't get it, man. I don't understand Larkin. That's one of those ones that I personally just, will not understand. I don't understand why those got why I don't know. It's a shame. It really, really is a shame when you look at that kind of crap going on and stuff. But the other thing, I mean, I'm wondering if teams are going to call up the what do you call it? If teams are going to call up San Diego and see if San Diego is going to be yeah, yeah. See if San Diego is going to be a seller. That's the interesting one. I mean, they're right there, but even though they have the third spot right now, there are teams that are calling up to find out about Dylan Cease and about Mike King. Very, very interesting from that perspective. Um, again, what happens over the next 7 days? A lot could go ahead and change, and and stuff. You know, I mean, you think about it, right? You have 7 days. You go 0-7, or you go 1-6, or 0-6. That could change your season like that in no time. So we will see. Football starting to heat up. Basketball, I mean, basketball stays in, you got all these little, the buyout market and all this other kind of crap and stuff. I don't know. It just mind boggling what's going on there. Football with the camps and stuff. I saw that Jamal Adams signed with the Raiders. I was a little bummed out. I was hoping he would come back to the Jets to go ahead and, and see maybe, veteran leadership. I know a lot of fans didn't like it, but hey, it is what it is. Locke, and I heard teams are you're going back to baseball real fast though. I heard teams are calling about what's his name? Dom's buddy, Seth Lugo. I don't know if that would happen. I don't know if they'd make him available, but I heard people are talking to Cleveland. I mean, it's weird. Like I said, the Dodgers practically have the best record, even with all the pain. Yeah, it's it's crazy. It's really, really crazy when you look at what they have been able to do. 60 wins with that pitching staff, which is put together with band-aids and bubble gum. Lugo not happening? Bummer. But then again, you'd have to over. I think he would take a serious overpay to get him out of Kansas City. Larkin, do you think will sign the Skins? He thinks the Commanders may, but not those guys. Yankee Stadium against the Astros, Old Timers Day. Nice. Nice, Ryan. That should be good. I'll tell lovable Lugo last year of his contract. Really? Really? Didn't know that, Dom. He has a player option for 15 million. I would think if he has a good second half, he will go ahead and he will go ahead and not do it. If they don't do it right soon, I bet they play. Yeah, they could place a franchise tag on him. I mean, from that standpoint, and he can sit out until the last possible minute to come and play and everything. Oh, can't do it. No, he has. That's what I'm saying. He has a player option for next year, so he can opt. He has a for 26 is a player option, so he could say no. I think I'm worth more than $15 million and go on the open market. But again, 36-year-old pitcher hitting the open market. I mean, he's good. He's a good player. Good player. He's done well. I mean, he really went ahead and uh, really kicked it in last year. 16-9 last year. He's been one of those consistent guys and everything. So, uh, yeah, it'll be interesting with what he does. There are a lot of players that have opt outs. You know, he'll resign like waka 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 waka. Yeah, but what do you think they would offer him, Lockin? I mean, would 18 million a year get it done? I'm not sure. Hey, can we see your card table behind you? That's all right here is all, that's all football that I'm putting together to do lots with over here. You can't see it, but that's all baseball, and then behind it, there's more baseball there. Um, there are some scary Terry cards there. He's 36, not going to take 200 million. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if he, look, hey, if he likes it in Kansas City and decides to stay, more power to him. You know, Sean Ryan says, "Hello." From that standpoint, so yeah, more power to him. I agree. It was not going to take it. It's not going to take him that much money. Um, I could see it. What, 3 years, 50 million, maybe. Could that get it done? I mean, take him to his age 39 season. 3 years at 50 million. What, 18? A little, 16 and change. Who knows? Anything is possible. There's a lot of players with a lot of opt outs. Now built into a lot of these contracts. A lot. And people don't realize, a lot of these players, they added all these opt outs. But I don't know. Like I said, to me, Arizona, does Arizona potentially move Merrill Kelly or Zach Gallen? Nah, the boxes don't fit right in them. The 3-row or the 4-row. The 4-row boxes don't fit well inside of them. So we'll see. I have one of those, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One of those 5 shelf those plastic containers, and what I got, one, two, I got 3 shelves, and each shelf has like 6 4-row boxes on them that I have to figure out what to go ahead and do with. From you start a YouTube channel of ripping open packs, boxes, and you start that, what, 4 years ago. You open up you have a lot of cards, a lot of cards. And there's also right there, there's a bunch right there. You can't see them, but there's a bunch of 2-row boxes that have, slabs and top loaded cards back over there. Way too much stuff. Got to pare down, especially with, Huddle HQ going ahead and, going to be, moving in about 9 months or so. We're going to have a new studio. Got to figure it out. You need 2025 Series 2 to complete my set. Too expensive. You don't have any Series 2 yet? Or do you have Series 2? Because I opened up a little bit of Series 2. Not that much. And I mean, if you knew what you needed, I could go ahead and, figure out where my boxes are. Because I did that mega box. Did a mega boxes Series 2 last week. Videos have been lacking. Been working so much, just, Chrome. Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of it, but yeah, I don't know. The inserts suck. Well, I mean, just that. I mean, the truth is, well, what are we expecting anymore? I mean, and I mean that truthfully. Bought a jumbo. Nice. Um, what and being all in all seriousness, in the lower end product, right? Which to me is flagship, the paper, the chrome, the heritage, archives. What are we really expecting out of those boxes? They are, from what I heard, they're printing the crap out of it. And if you're not throwing anything decent in a blaster or a mega, okay, what are you going ahead and you know what are you getting? I mean, I was lucky. My mega, I got a Yamamoto patch, but it's a friggin' napkin. And who cares? It's not like it's anything special. Wasn't an autograph or anything like that, you know. So we'll see. Yep. No Raleigh, no PCA in Chrome. They'll be in Chrome update. I mean, I would think that they would. I would think they'll put them in Chrome update because putting them in Chrome update makes them a big chase. And maybe that's why they left them out of regular Chrome. I mean, but there's two all stars, home run derby champion. I gotta believe that they'll be in Chrome update. I'm not. I'm yeah. I would think they would, for crying out loud. I mean, because usually update is not like fan super. I mean, but so I would think that they would put them in there, give them a it would be give Chrome update series a boost. But again, that's what I'm saying. Think about it, right? What is there to look forward to? In Chrome update, or even in Chrome, what is there to look forward to? You're not going to be able. You don't really get anything spectacular out of a box anymore that you buy off a shelf. Um, you know, and the hobby boxes are are super expensive. And I mean, Sean, you bought a jumbo on release day. So what was it? What, two autographs and a mem? What'd you get? You know? Yeah. So I'm curious, Sean, right? Because I think you got. Let me see what it says. 2025. Oh, gosh darn it. 2025 tops series two checklist. I bought a hobby, not a jumbo. Got a relic with no dupes. Okay. Now, did you get any of the variations? So, out of a hobby box, one autograph or one mem. So you got a relic. Okay, there you go. From that standpoint, you have the gold mirror. You got the player number 24, all positions, and short printed rookie cards. They did have some. I didn't realize they had some. What do you call it? Companion cards and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think overall we have we've seen where the market is going. Um, you know, I know me. I'm going to have to change. Like I said, what I do. I just can't, continue to do, what I do. I can't continue doing what I've done. because I'll continue to get what I've gotten, which means I'll wind up getting nothing great. So you know if I switch to looking to try and get some hits and I go with the hobbies or the jumbos, well, then that'll mean you know that a hobby box will be 4 videos. Each stack will be a video. It'll be like opening up four blaster boxes. It's just gonna have to change some things up going forward with the channel. It's just the way it is. Um, you know, I want to do more live sales. I know Big John signed up for district. I want to go ahead and get on there and do more live sales. But it's just had so much work I wanted to do this weekend. But I'm like, ooh, people are going to the national. I'm not this weekend. But like, yeah, I wanted to do one on Friday, but I have to work Friday. The reason why I can't go to the nationals, I got to work that weekend. I'm hoping that I can, you know, uh, be able to be home to watch SummerSlam. Because I'm working over the weekend. And everything. $17 for the card table. Sorry, Dom. That's yeah. I can't do that. I apologize. I feel horrible not being able to do it, but I can't. Sorry. Uh, so got to see. I mean, Dom made some good points about some other kinds of videos that I could do. He talked about stuff for the show. May have to turn those into videos. May have to do some different types of stuff. You know, um, I don't know. This a lot of the changes that have happened the way the hobby went, you know 10xing the hobby, praying the crap out of everything, and the value really just not being there. I mean, did you hear about that Willie Star? Speaking of the bull crap, did you hear about that cut auto that was in Topps Dynasty? That was a Willie Stargell card, as a cut auto in, what is it, Destiny Dynasty, whatever it is. It's $1,100 a box for one card. The cut auto of Willie Stargell, if you go online and look, you could buy it for pennies on a dollar compared to the 1,100. You know, I'm not buying any new PC singles right now. Complete set. Wait till prices go down. I'm hoping Matt will have time after the national to tag team a sell. Yeah. Hey, oh, I see Arnie put a post on his YouTube page, but nothing about coming up. Oh, really? I don't. Um, what is his YouTube? What does he go by again? I forgot. I forgot what he goes by again on the YouTuber. I mean on Facebook. Cardio.com. Oh, he put on his YouTube. Okay. I don't know why. You said YouTube right there. I read Facebook. What a dummy. Pretty sure Arnie is going to the national. I don't know. There was a group chat about going to the Cubs game, I think on Friday, and there has been nothing from what I have heard, from him. So I don't know. Mike Jones, got it. Da-da-da. What the hell? I don't know. I'll look it up later. Mike Jones on the Facebook, Rooney. The card closet, the card cabinet. How the hell? I'm gonna have to find them. Carddeal.com. I'm subscribed. Did he put a post in his community page or something? One day ago, he posted the Phillies, if you know. So, yep, something about the whatever the Phillies pitchers with the Pat Neshek and Lowell Palmer wearing sunglasses. All right, Sean, have a good one, buddy. When does you can't be what are you in summer school, Sean? Are you in summer school? Pardon me. Yeah, I tell you, man, there's just a bunch of some of the scams that are coming out a little bit more here or there, man. It's just it's very, very interesting. Some of the scams that are occurring. You guys got I mean it's crazy. You gotta be careful. It's like no summer school in July. Oh, good. Very good. Excuse me. So July 31st. All right. So we will see what happens. I don't expect, you really don't expect much. I mean, it's sad. I mean, it really is, you know, way too early for that nonsense. Yep. Tell me about it. When I mean, it's crazy. Like, all right, the baseball season only start, slow and everything, but Chrome, okay. Then from a baseball perspective, you have Topps Archives Signature Series. That's the one card, one pack. Like when you look at the July calendar, soccer, basketball, football, Topps Chrome baseball, and the other thing, Leaf Metal baseball, not going to be a big seller. Beanie Boys of summer baseball. That looks pretty interesting. Topps Finest. That'll be one. I bet you Topps Finest people will go after. But there's just I you think about how it is right now. What's it going to be like? I know. I wonder if the way baseball is going, if they'll do the same thing with football and with basketball when Fanatics is completely in control. Um, they hide the release dates. Yeah, but I mean, if you don't want to, if you don't want to put a date, shouldn't you at least go ahead and say what could be coming out? I mean, are they still doing a museum? Are they still doing triple threads, or is that stuff already out? Past releases. They'll cut more sets because they cannot make enough cards to keep up. But I thought they're making. But look at the print runs of baseball. Print runs of baseball going crazy. I don't know. It's just. I I just think it's going to be interesting to see what they try and do as they go forward. Right. Pre-order on blowouts top five. Wow. Right now, 450. Wow. And it is in short supply. I just wonder what, like, I wonder what the, um, are they gonna, I would think that they have to do a paper product for basketball and a paper product for football. I don't know what it will look like, but I would think they have to go ahead and do that. I mean, it would make sense that they would. It would make sense that they would go ahead and have some kind of a paper product come out for basketball and for football. Hopefully they do. I mean, it would be nice to go ahead and at least be able to open up something along those lines. Again, will they? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, but does seeing it matter? Neo's Cards and Comics, man, they're live right now. They got Jeff Wilson, and they got the Sports Card Dad. Big time show. Sports Card Dad, Neo, and whoever those other two guys are. Yeah, 450 a box. Again, 450 a box, and again, who are going to be the chasers? What's the chase even going to be worth? Because the way it seems right now, the only things that are really worth anything are the one-on-ones. Or maybe a patch, stuff like that. It's definitely not a kid's hobby. Heck to the no, no to the heck. You know, I don't know. People still are able to go ahead and, I don't know. A lot of stuff out there. These creators quit. Yeah, when you look at a bunch of the people who have quit, making, content. Sports Card Radio stopped. Justin Gamble stopped. A bunch of the other ones have, a bunch of these have gone ahead and have stopped. I'll be honest with you, John. Buying stock might be better, you know. But there are, yeah, you don't see a lot of, you don't see a lot of people going ahead, and slowly but surely, people are going ahead and getting out of the hobby. The like, I don't know, you know, Sports Card Radio came back 5 days ago. Oh wow, huh? That's interesting. Um, but I don't know. It's when you look from a content standpoint, the content really isn't very different anymore. In reality, the truth of the matter is the only content that is different is watching breaks live, and the only reason why it's different is because you see them opening a different pack of cards all the time, and it's live, right? And the potential of getting a hit, and so on and so forth. But you don't see it. ETFs are better. Been doing that for months now. I don't buy. I don't buy stocks. I should. I don't worry about that anymore. ETFs. I'm not even sure what ETFs are. I'm too old for ETFs. You know, and then like I said, with the two-run homer for Boston. Thank you very much. Let's go, Boston. Damn it, Larkin. How the hell do your Royals? How the hell are your Royals down 7 to the White Sox? Come on. Come on, man. Come on. Schwarber. Harper hit a home run. Castellanos hit a home run. Realmuto, Schwarber, and Stott. That's a lot of home runs. That is a lot of home runs. Well, at least you got a 2-run lead going in if it gets to the bottom of the inning. ETFs are investment. Oh, thank you, sir. The hell are you talking about? We whooped the Cubs today. Oh, that was the Rays. Sorry. Whoops. Look, you know, reading's not that easy. Brewers won again. Blue Jays won. Guardians, Dodgers, Diamondbacks. Rockies beat the Cardinals. Royals beat the Cubs. Seth Lugo, the man we were talking about. The Giants beat the baseball team from Georgia today, and Rafael Devers played first base yesterday. In yesterday's game, Raf Devers played first base. How is that for a kick in the ass to the Boston Red Sox? Marlins are hot. Six and 4 in the last 10, won in the last 2. 10 games out of first place. 10 games out of first place, and 6.5 out of the final spot. If they can remain hot, who knows? Maybe they will go ahead and not be sellers. Who knows? Who the F knows? So for you wrestling fans, I don't know if you heard the news of Buff Bagwell, Marcus Alexander Bagwell, who went to the same high school as Xavier Woods, as Chris Benson, as Marlon Byrd, as Michael Chavis, as Rodrigo Blankenship, as Nicole Gentili, as Jennifer Gentili, and Mike Gentili, the CEO. They all went to school at Sprayberry High School. But Marcus Alexander Bagwell, Buff, he had his right leg amputated above the knee. last few days ago. Yeah, I don't understand that partnership. I do not understand how TNA agrees to that partnership and both their champions are WWE stars. I don't I don't understand that. I I I do not understand what kind of partnership that is where I mean I just don't get it, dude. I It's mind-boggling to me. It is definitely boggling to me how they go ahead and do that kind of stuff. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't understand. I don't I mean I don't, again I don't know how TNA they go to Long Island this past weekend. I guess it was. They have their Slammiversary there. You could have gone ahead and set it up to where Mike Santana wins the title against Trick, and you set him up as the face of TNA, and you have Trick Williams win. I I don't understand it. Yeah, I don't I don't get it. I mean I just it's mind boggling to me. It's something that I don't understand. Um, and I just yeah. Yep, yeah, I saw that. Then to go ahead and get choke slammed by him. So, I don't know. I mean, what is TNA? I would love to know what TNA is getting out of this. Be- Because nothing on the surface looks like looks good. I mean, are they getting bigger gates at their events because NXT people are going to be there? That's what you want? Hey, let's bring these other people in so our gates can go ahead and go up. So is that all you care about? I mean, I mean, look, you have I don't know if they have AEW, but they have WWE talent there, ex WWE talent. They have, probably ex AEW talent there. So I mean, I just I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It just doesn't make sense to me. Um I mean, you might as well go ahead and, you might as well let some NXT tag team win the tag belts. I mean, you might as well. You might as well just go ahead and let that happen next. Hearing that Ronald's injury is a storyline, and we all knew Roman. Yeah, so I'm hearing about is the Rollins thing is that he is hurt. Um, but he's not hurt that serious. It's like something an old injury. That's what people were saying that they were trying to put a spin on it. I don't know. All I'm going to tell you is right now, and I said this in a wrestling chat that I'm in. If Rollins' injury is a work because it was on regular TV, NBC, he should be nominated for an Emmy Award, and he should get it hands down. Because if that is a work, that is the best the best work that I have ever seen in my somewhat 50 years of watching wrestling. Now, there are some points to make you think that it is truly a work part of the storyline. Yeah, Meltzer, I heard you say that. One of the things that they're pointing out to is that the referee never threw up the X. But I only thought that they threw the X up when they really needed serious help, to come in because it was, it was a dislocated, a break like Zoe Stark, or or when Liv got hurt. And I don't remember them throwing the X up for Liv when she got hurt, but those types of things. Um, but I mean, he should get best performer, and LA Knight should get best supporting actor, for if that's what they have, because you look at the way he acted also, it was like he had no idea either. So I don't know. I mean, part of me, I'm literally, be honest with you, I'm 50-50 on it. If it is, man, that's unbelievable. Now, do I think he shows up at SummerSlam? Yes. Do I think they figure out a way to make him come down the aisle looking good? Maybe he can't wrestle, but looking good to distract or cause something, because he did say that as long as he has breath in his lungs, CM Punk will never be the world champion. So a cash in wouldn't work, because unless he would cash in on Gunther, and that really doesn't make sense to go ahead and do Gunther like that. Um, if he were to go ahead and win Punk, and then Seth cash in, well, then that goes against what Seth said. So I don't know. I think we see him either Friday or Monday night, possibly. I mean, it is kind of odd. You would have figured by now, they would have been able to have an MRI and something would have been out there. So you know, that's where it is. And I tell you, like I said, I mean, if it's a work, man, woo, that's the best one that I have ever seen. The whole thing, the doctor had to be in on it, or maybe the doctor wasn't in on it. He, was something that he and Triple H talked about. Maybe Paul knew, and then to be able to walk off the way he was, and now, show him videos of him, on crutches with his daughter and stuff like that, going on the Rich Eisen show and saying, well, I'll get to spend more time with my kid. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's, we have Jimmy and the tribal chief. I'm sorry, Jay and the tribal chief going up against the Bronze. So, is that kind of a swerve piece to it or not? I don't know. I don't know, but I'll tell you one thing. Show up next Wednesday. We'll talk about it then. Well, all right, everybody. Hour and a half down the tubes. Episode number 134. Bye-bye. See you so long. Adios. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. We'll come back next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, SummerSlam. Walking. Come on, man. Adios. We could talk about the possible double flip. Yep. Sounds good. Later, everybody. Appreciate